Today we're interviewing Magistrate Judge Aaron Thompson.
Yes, sir.
And Judge Thompson he's actually seeking the 6th District Court Judge position.
District Court Judge, yes, sir.
And so, Judge, first of all, why are you running?
Well, a couple of things. I've reached a point in my career where I want some additional challenges. And I think I bring a lot to the table with the experience that I have. The district court judge in our district handles criminal felony cases and civil disputes that exceed $10,000, land disputes, and certain appeals. And I have been at this now for a little bit over a quarter of a century, 26 years to be exact. 8 years as a judge. And I feel at this point in time, my life, my career, my experience puts me in the position that I'm ready for the challenge.
Now, you were a private attorney to begin with.
Yes, sir.
And what area of law did you specialize in?
A little bit of everything. When I hired in on my firm back in 2000, they are a general practice firm. Mm-hmm. And so we did civil disputes, we did criminal disputes, we did appeals, we did family law, we did contract disputes, and as you're aware, I was licensed over on the Chauvin tribal at the tribal bar. I passed the bar examination, which, by the way, was a very hard bar exam. It was difficult to pass.
How many took it when you took it, Judge?
I want to say that there probably were about 4 or 5 that took it.
And how many actually passed?
I want to say that 2, maybe 3 passed it. And I remember it was taught by the prep class was taught by Larry Echohawk. And I remember going through it, and I remember sitting for that bar exam. And like I said, it was a difficult examination.
Yes, it was. When I took it, there were 15 of us that took, 3 of us passed.
I'll believe it.
Yes. So anyway, did you go to the National Judicial College after being appointed to it?
I did. In 2018, I was appointed as a magistrate judge in Bannock County. And in 2019, it was a little bit. I'd been judged for approximately a year when they sent me to Reno, and I spent 2 weeks in Reno, Nevada, at the University of Nevada, Reno, at the Judicial College, and learned quite a bit. And then also in conjunction with that, they do an orientation through the Idaho Supreme Court. So I spent a couple of weeks in Boise as well, getting training.
Now, Judge, we've seen in this past 4 years, we've seen our society change. People have become more hateful again. Are you seeing that on the bench?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of rhetoric, and sometimes the attorneys are being mean with one another. Sometimes it's the people being mean. Sometimes, unfortunately, I try not to do this myself, but sometimes you see the judges being mean. And one of the things that I think that we really need to get back to is collegiality and camaraderie. And I think we need to tone down the rhetoric. And I think we need to remember that we are all human beings, that even though we don't look at things through the same perspective or the same lens, we have a legal position, and we can be disagreeable without being disagreeable.
Okay, you've been on the bench for 4 years?
8 years.
8 years. And so what is your specialty area?
Well, it's changed over the course of time. I have a typical magistrate judge docket, so I do a little family law, a little criminal. I do felony preliminary hearings, landlord disputes, evictions, but I presided over Bannock County's mental health court for 2 years, and was asked to do that by Judge Dunn, who was a former district court judge, who asked me to take over that responsibility, and that was a great honor, helping people through that treatment court process.
Now, we know others right now who are going through our treatment courts. There's a veteran who's actually started going to programs before getting in the Veterans Court.
Yeah.
And so, do you think our treatment courts are a better diversion than going through the regular system of trying them and putting them in prison?
I absolutely do, for multiple reasons. One, I think that the treatment courts, because there's a great team in place on all of the teams, I think that that it is a somewhat informal way of giving people tools to succeed. We have a lot of people in our society that are suffering with drug addiction. We have a lot of people in our society that are suffering from mental health issues, and a lot of times both. And if we don't give them the tools to recover from their mental health issues or to recover from their drug addiction, and both, then the reality of it is once they're done, even whether being incarcerated or whether they're on probation, they're going to reoffend because they have not learned the tools to avoid those circumstances. And so rehabilitation is important. And also, why is that important to a lot of people? It lessens our tax burden, because the more times that people have to come to court, the higher the tax burden. Police, probation officers, court time, and we actually have to build prisons. And it costs more to incarcerate someone than it does to rehabilitate. So everybody benefits. It's win-win.
Okay, Judge, you talked about the responsibilities of a district court judge versus a magistrate judge. You'll be responsible for conducting jury trials.
Yes.
Do we have a good jury system set up in Bannock County?
Well,
in the district? And if it's not, then what are you going to do to improve it?
Okay. To be clear, I already do handle jury trials. It's just misdemeanor jury trials where they're comprised of 6 individuals, and have done a multitude of those. But with that being said, we do have a good jury system in Bannock County. And just to be clear, I would be presiding over jury trials throughout the 6th district if I'm elected to this position.
And where is that?
The 6th district is Power County, Bannock County, Oneida County, Bear Lake County, Franklin County, and Caribou County.
So it's a large district.
It is. Ironically, I did some research on this when I started running for the position. 6,000 square total miles, larger than the size of Connecticut.
Wow. Okay. So,
but I didn't answer your question. The question is am I ready to take on jury trials? And the answer to that is yes. And the reason I can give you that answer so firmly is because I did jury trials when I was a practitioner, and I have done jury trials as a magistrate judge. Do we have a great system? Yes. Do I think more cases need to go to trial? My answer to that is yes. The reason I say that is plea bargains are important, and they are an important part of our system, and our system would collapse on itself if every case went to trial. But with that being said, the community being involved in jury trials, 12 jurors coming in and watching and deciding the fate, is the way that our system is supposed to work. The members of our community are supposed to judge the facts associated with allegations. And I think our system works best when there are more jury trials as opposed to it. And they're challenging, they're hard from the judge perspective. I know they're hard from the attorney's perspective. I know that that's the most challenging thing that they do, but it's a good thing.
What about high-profile cases? Now, we've seen a few come to Bannock County, just like any other jurisdiction. And are you prepared to handle high-profile cases? And do you handle them? Have you been trained to handle them different than you do a normal, everyday trial?
I've handled a lot of high-profile cases as an attorney, so I think I come to this from a unique experience. I know how to handle the media. I know how to deal with the media, and I know how to act exactly the same even when the media is watching. I've already been trained to do that by virtue of what I did as a practitioner. And as a judge, I have handled several high-profile sentencings and high-profile preliminary hearings where the media had attention. They wanted to be involved in the process and sometimes overstep their bounds. And I've even had to take the step of excluding the media from the courtroom when they didn't do what they were supposed to do. You have to keep your eye on the ball as a judge. You can't act any differently than you would if nobody was in the gallery. You have to because that's what justice demands. It's what it demands. And if the attorneys start getting out of line and they're playing for the cameras, you have to be prepared to say, knock it off. That is not who we're trying to persuade here. We're not trying to persuade the media. We're trying to persuade the jury, or if the issue is with me, they need to persuade me. So keep the eye on the ball.
How often does it actually go to a trial by judge when it's on that level versus a trial by jury?
Jury trials at the district court level, they're common, but they are also rare because a lot of people, they're willing to take the chance with a jury trial as opposed to a judge trial because they think that they have a better chance convincing or not convincing 12 individuals as opposed to just one. And so I think a lot of people will elect to go that. I have a lot of court trials as a magistrate judge because in some instances of law, they're not even entitled to a jury trial, say a family law case. So I hear family law disputes as a court trial judge all the time.
We see the number of family child protection cases, and there's been some pretty high profile child protection cases within the last couple of years. Do you treat them any differently than in any other case?
Well, whenever you're dealing with a juvenile, I think that you have to look at it from the perspective of rehabilitation. There is absolutely no question that is the number one prong or the number one goal in rehabilitating a juvenile. Now, I look at it from adult offenders a lot from the same perspective, but there's no doubt the emphasis is on rehabilitating.
Let me clarify the question.
Okay.
Now, as a lawyer, you worked on Indian child welfare cases.
Absolutely did.
Here in Pocatello versus a regular child protection out of Fort Hall.
Yep.
Okay. Can you explain to people what the difference between an Indian child welfare case and a regular CPA case?
CPA. Yeah, with a Indian Child Welfare Act case. So let's say that someone is terminating someone's parental rights. They're trying to do that in the civil system. And the child is of Native descent. There are certain statutory requirements that we're supposed to go through to make sure that children of Native descent are being placed with Native families so as not to split or to culturally divide children of Native descent. So in those types of cases, the judge has to be really, really wary and careful to make sure that federal law is complied with, because that's what Congress has indicated that we have to do. And there are important reasons for that being in place. In a child protection action that takes place over on the reservation, you don't have those same concerns because typically the litigants are both enrolled members of the tribe, and so placement isn't as much of a concern. But there was always concern from Congress that we were splitting up Native families, and so it's really important that statute be complied with, and there are firm rules that we have to comply with.
Voting's going on right now.
Yes, sir.
Why should they vote for you?
Well, as I started, just the experience that I bring to the table, I feel like I bring competence to the table. I feel like I have treatment court background, so from day one I can run a treatment court effectively. I have a wide breadth of practice, a wide breadth of experience. There's little that I haven't seen. Now, it's not to say that every day that I go into court, I see something new. I say, wow, I haven't really seen that before. But with that being said, it all echoes with things that I have done in the past. And so I already have a plan in place to deal with almost any issue that I'm presenting.
Are you a veteran?
I am not a veteran.
Okay, so let me ask you a question now. I'm going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the people.
Okay.
And the way we do it tribally, I don't know if you've ever seen this, we ask you to say who you are, who your family is, who your mom and dad were, because as you're talking, you're looking at the generations.
Mm-hmm.
So, Aaron Thompson, introduce yourself to the people.
My name is Aaron Thompson. I've lived in Southeast Idaho for 26 years, and I consider myself an Idahoan. I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else in my life. I have two wonderful children. I have a son that attends Idaho State University. He's a senior. He's pursuing a biology degree, and he plans on going to become a physical therapist. My daughter, who's the love of my life, is 14 years old. She is graduating from 8th grade next week, ironically on the day after the election, and she is going on to high school. And I learned last night, because she's on the high honor roll, I learned that her pursuit will be to be a dermatologist. And I explained to her last night that she would have to be a doctor in order to do that, and I'm not sure that that didn't scare her off a little bit, because she doesn't want to go to that much school. But with that being said, I'm very, very proud of my children. My mom and my dad, I was raised in rural Indiana, and my mom and dad are still living. My mom resides in Indiana. My dad he resides close to my brother outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And my brother was a veteran. My brother served a term in the United States Air Force in Uzbekistan and Afghanistan, and is now a deputy police officer outside of Atlanta, Georgia. He has 3 beautiful daughters, and I do have a living grandmother who is 94 years old, and every year I make a trip back to Indiana. We talk every day online, and my grandmother is just a wonderful person, and so I think that gives you a flavor of me.
Very good. Anything else you'd like to tell people, Ted?
Who is put into this position matters. You want someone with experience. You want someone that's going to show up to court. You want someone that's going to help your community. And I feel like I fit those roles and am willing to start day one.
Judge, thank you for being on Res Radio.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Res Radio's out.